After walking around the mall for hours with my parents and younger sister, Michelle, I was starving. As we sat in the food court, I picked up a fry and was about to place it in my mouth when someone grabbed my hand. With a confused look, I tilted my head as a slim lady with a large mink coat and shades seemed to be admiring my hand.
Can we help you?
Mom looked at the lady as she removed my hand from hers.
I'd like to offer you $1 billion for your hands.
The lady looked at me as she lowered her glasses so I could see her eyes. Hey, my name is Caitlin. Before I continue, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Have you tapped that notification bell? Please do, so you can know when more amazing videos are out. Dad immediately stood up and pointed his finger at the lady.
Now, you hold it there, lady.
The lady held up her hand and Dad stopped talking.
Her hands are perfect for the beauty market. Her hands are the perfect model for my skincare products. I am willing to offer a $1 billion contract now.
My eyes pleaded with my parents.
I think we should think about this.
Mom looked over me, then at Dad.
The deal is on the table now. You either take it or leave it.
Come on, Mom. When am I ever going to get another chance at $1 billion?
Fine.
Mom nodded her head. I watched as the lady opened her bag and pulled out a contract. My eyes twinkled as I thought about all the things I was going to purchase as I watched my parents sign the contract.
Good,
the lady said, putting the contract back in her bag and handing Dad a business card. The name on the card read Madam Laurel.
My office is on the 5th floor. Be there for 4 p.m. next Saturday.
Without another word, the lady turned and walked away. Next Saturday came, and it went great. It was pretty easy. Madam Laurel just wanted to use my hands in some commercials and stuff. I promised my parents that nothing would change and I would keep my grades up and continue to do my chores. I thanked them for allowing me to do this before hugging them and heading to bed. My parents insisted on saving part of my money in my college fund, and I was given a part. I immediately bought new shoes and new clothes. I got my little sister a few toys and got my parents watches. I even got a few trinkets for my friends. When I stepped into school with my new clothes, I felt like a new person. Word about my $1 billion contract with the beauty company spread like wildfire. I have no idea how they could have gotten that info. Girls that never spoke with me before were now telling me hello, and the boys were waving at me and asking me for my phone number. My heart fluttered when I realized that Austin was walking towards me. Austin recently started school here and was in my homeroom class. He's just a boy. He's just a boy, I whispered to myself. My heart sank when he walked past without saying anything. I turned and watched him walk away.
You really thought that Austin was going to talk to you?
Tori, the captain of the cheerleading team, smirked as she brushed past me and headed in Austin's direction. But unlike me, she was bold enough to talk to him. She makes me so angry. I clenched my fists. Suddenly, someone bumped into me and I felt something sticky fall onto my fingers and drip down my clothes. I glared at the girl that had stumbled and thrown the juice over me. How dare you? Do you know how much my hands cost? I waved my hands in front of her.
I'm so sorry.
She tried to wipe my hands. You did enough damage for one day. Why don't you go and make someone else's life miserable? The girl ran away crying, while I stormed off towards the bathroom to wash up. I had to spend the rest of the day with a huge red stain on my shirt. That afternoon, while doing my homework, someone knocked on my door.
Hey, Caitlin, it's your turn to do the dishes.
Michelle's head peeked around the door. As I thought about what had happened today at school, I looked at my sister. Why should I get my pretty little fingers wrinkled? I think you should do it. Michelle scoffed as she opened my door fully.
And why in the world would I want to do your chores?
Because if you don't, I'll tell Mom and Dad that you were kissing Brent in the cafeteria today. Michelle groaned loudly.
Fine.
She left my room and closed the doors behind her. I think I'll need to get something to protect my hands. I wiggled my fingers thoughtfully in front of my face. I know just the thing. I jumped up from my desk and went to my wardrobe. In a box in the back was my old Halloween costume that came with a white pair of gloves. I slipped it on. Perfect. I made a few phone calls before going to bed. I needed to protect my hands at all costs. I couldn't afford to lose my $1 billion contract. I called Keenan, who was the smartest boy in class. I told him I would pay him to do my homework, and he agreed. I also hired Franklin, our next-door neighbor, to carry my bag to and from school. The only thing I need now is juicy gossip on Michelle every day, so she continues to do my chores. I smiled slyly. The next few weeks were pretty amazing. I had students eating out of my hand. The more my advertisements played on TV, the more money I got. The more money I got, the more I used it to purchase, well, my classmates. Did you know that you could get people to do anything for you once you pay them the right price? As Franklin and I walked home one afternoon, I thought about ways to get Austin to notice me. That's it. I'll ask my parents if I could throw a Sweet 16 birthday party.
Can I come?
Franklin asked shyly. I was about to say no, but then I had a great idea. You can come once my parents say yes, but you have to keep Tori busy for me while I talk to Austin. Franklin agreed. You may be wondering why I was going to invite Tori, but it's quite simple. When I ask Austin to cut my cake with me, I'll get him to kiss me. I mean, who's going to say no to the birthday girl? And when he does, I want Tori to be a witness to that kiss. That evening at dinner, I asked my parents if I could throw a birthday party for all my friends. I told them that I would take care of all the preparations and we would have it in the backyard. When my parents said yes, I ran over to hug them. This is going to be the best party ever! When I finally picked up my invitation from the printers, Austin was the first person I handed one to. Hi! I walked up to him, ignoring Tori, who was standing next to him. Here is an invitation to my birthday party. I hope you can make it. Austin looked at the invitation.
Sure, I'll come, but can I bring a few friends?
Sure you can, I smiled. And this one's for you. I handed Tori her invitation. She looked a little shocked, but she didn't say anything. I walked away, and as I began handing out my invitations, I got more and more excited. I decided to do a Hawaiian-themed birthday party with tiki torches, leis, and even Hawaiian dancers. The night of the party, I wore a beautiful floral dress to go with the theme of my party. My parents said that they would welcome my guests and direct them to the backyard. The party was in full swing when Austin arrived, but my heart sank when I realized that he walked in with a girl on his arm. I was chatting with a group of friends when he came over to wish me a happy birthday. Thank you for coming. Are you and your girlfriend enjoying the party? Austin looked at me with a raised eyebrow.
Girlfriend?
Yeah, the girl you walked in with. Austin chuckled and my face turned cherry red.
That's not my girlfriend, that's my younger sister.
Oh, slipped through my lips. I watched as Austin waved her over. My jaw dropped when I realized who Austin's sister was. Y'all remember that teeny tiny incident where the girl stumbled and threw the juice on me? The girl was Austin's sister.
Ellie, this is Caitlin, the host of the party.
We shook hands. Are you enjoying the party?
Yes, I am. Thank you for having me.
Ellie turned and walked away abruptly with Austin on her heels. I watched as he held her hand to stop her. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but I knew they were talking about me since they were constantly looking in my direction. Ellie walked away and disappeared into the house. Austin shook his head at me and followed her inside, and he didn't return. Even though I wanted to run to my room and cry, I couldn't desert my guests. The rest of the party was a blur. I was happy when the last person left. I didn't see Austin until lunch the next day when we were at school. I asked him why he left.
My sister told me what you did. You know, I see you walking around here with people doing everything you pay them to do, yet I still thought there was some good in you because my parents told me never to judge a book by its cover. But after Ellie told me how you humiliated her, my suspicions about you were right. I don't ever want to speak to you again.
Austin walked away and water filled my eyes. I hustled to the girls' bathroom where I locked myself in a stall and cried. I knew that I had to make things right with Ellie, then maybe Austin would forgive me? I found Ellie after school. Hey, can we talk?
Let me guess. You want to apologize for what you did so that my brother will forgive you. All you popular kids are the same. You don't do anything unless it benefits you. You have 0 chances of getting with my brother. He is too good for you, and I will never forgive you.
Ellie walked away. That afternoon, I didn't wait for Franklin. I walked home quickly. I just wanted this day to end. Once home, I crawled into bed and stayed there for the rest of the afternoon. Next Saturday, my parents dropped me off at the mall to do my commercial. My eyes were red and puffy from crying the whole week. My parents were convinced that I had the flu. I had to convince them that I was fine. When I walked into the studio, Madame Laurel looked me over.
Well, it's a good thing you aren't a face model, darling. Your face looks like trash.
With that, she began to order everyone around to get the photo shoot done. After the shoot, Madame Laurel warned me to keep my hands safe because I had a major photo shoot coming up the next weekend. I nodded and walked out of the studio. While heading out to the mall, I saw some of my friends, and they convinced me to stay a while. We headed to the skateboard rink at the back of the mall. Austin and some of his friends were there doing skateboarding tricks. My friends went over to cheer them on while I reluctantly followed. After a while, I got into the momentum and cheered the boys on as well.
Okay, girls.
Dan, one of the boys, walked over to us.
Any of you willing to try a trick?
The other girls shied away, but I figured if Austin saw another side of me, that he would change his mind about who I was. I grabbed the board from Dan and grinned. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? While the other boys hollered and cheered, Austin just stayed quiet. Since it was my first time on a skateboard, all they wanted me to do was keep both my legs on the skateboard until I reached the other side. Simple, right? I got on and they pushed me. Everything was going great until a dog came out of nowhere and ran in front of the skateboard. I tumbled. I went one way and the skateboard went the other. The pain in my wrist was intense. My friends ran over and someone called my parents. I closed my eyes as tears streamed down my face. When my parents arrived, they took me to the emergency room. My wrist was broken and my arm was placed in a cast. I was given painkillers and sent home to rest. My parents called Madame Laurel and I lost the contract. I woke up the next day feeling groggy from my pain meds. My parents went to their usual Sunday morning bike ride and Michelle went to breakfast with a few friends. I took a bath and went to the kitchen to prepare breakfast when I heard the doorbell ring. I opened it and was surprised. There stood Ellie.
Hi, I heard about what happened yesterday. Any girl crazy enough to get on a skateboard for my brother? Well, let's just say, maybe you aren't so bad after all.
Ellie grinned.
Now, the both of you need to talk.
The both of? My words trailed off as Austin came out from his hiding spot. He apologized for his behavior and asked me if I'd like to go to the movies with him sometime. Before I knew what was happening, Austin pulled me close and kissed me on the cheek.
I'll call you tonight, okay?
I nodded. I watched as he walked away to meet Ellie. I closed the door and sighed. I spent the next week apologizing and begging for forgiveness from my friends and Michelle. I admitted that I did get a tad bit cocky, but if they allowed me to, I would make it up to them. Tori and I are still rivals, especially now that Austin and I are officially a couple now. Don't let money change who you are. Sometimes apologizing is not enough to mend those relationships that you tore apart. Stay humble. Stay humble.